Thanks for agreeing to be interviewed, Dad. Will you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Doug Thomas, and I'm the director of the Division of Substance Abuse and Mental Health for the state of Utah. I oversee the public mental health and the public substance use disorder system for the state of Utah. That includes the Medicaid system and the unfunded system for the state of Utah.
Okay. So, what are some of the legal issues surrounding the misuse of painkillers?
So some of the legal issues around painkillers are that it's illegal to buy or sell painkillers without a prescription, or manufacture them without a prescription from a doctor. Doctors, you need a prescription, and then when you have a prescription, you need to take the medicine as prescribed. Even when you take it as prescribed, though, you have to be careful and make sure that it's not affecting your ability to operate a motor vehicle or things like that, because some people take their prescription to manage their pain for painkillers, and it intoxicates them and it impairs their driving, and they can be charged with driving under the influence for those things. The other legal things that happen is sometimes people get addicted to painkillers, and then when they do, it has a lot of consequences, and sometimes they will then do things that they normally wouldn't do to get money or to get the medicine that they need. So they may go and commit forgery and forge a prescription to get painkillers, or they may go and commit robbery and to try to get money or get something to then trade for the painkillers. Or they may go from painkillers and move to heroin and start using heroin because heroin is much cheaper than painkillers, and it is an illegal drug to purchase and buy on the street, an illicit drug. So those are some of the legal consequences. Many people, if you look at the jail and the prison population in the state of Utah, somewhere in the neighborhood of 70% of the people who are in jail or prison have had substance use disorders. Not all of them with painkillers, but with alcohol, marijuana, or painkillers, heroin, opiates, methamphetamine, those types of things. So in the state of Utah, alcohol is the most abused drug. Many people don't think of alcohol as a drug because it's legal, but it is a drug and a substance that has serious legal and serious social consequences. The second most used and abused drug is marijuana. And then the third most is opiates, if you include heroin and prescription painkiller. And then methamphetamine and heroin opiates are about tied for third place and as the most used. So the legal consequences again are jail and prison sentences. There's been some justice reform that's happened. So what used to be felonies are now misdemeanors, and that's all to encourage people to get treatment when they have become addicted to or are using and abusing drugs, including painkillers.
All right. What are some of the social issues that revolve around the misuse of painkillers?
So some of the societal issues around the misuse of painkillers are really, it causes a lot of pain and grief for the individual. Most people didn't ask to become addicted. Sometimes they were taking their medicine like they were supposed to, and they built up tolerance, and they went through that tolerance, and then you become addicted. Some people have pretty serious pain issues that they need to manage, and that's what happened as a result of an accident or an injury, and the painkillers that they had to take. Other people start using recreationally painkillers and then develop other problems. So those are kind of the individual ones. It causes a lot of, you know, physical health problems. You expose yourself, you're at higher risk for communicable diseases. It also leads to other high risk behaviors. So there's a lot of things just individually. It tears families apart because the person, the drug becomes more important to them than their family, their kids, their wife, their husband. And so they lose their jobs. Has a lot of economic consequences. They lose their housing. And often it can lead to a real breakdown in society. The worst cause, then it puts more stress on communities too. We talked about some of the legal consequences earlier, and sometimes, you know, then people start to steal or forge prescriptions or do other illegal things that then breaks the community down too. But the worst outcome for the use of painkillers to society is death. People die from painkillers. More people die from overdose on painkillers than die from motor vehicle accidents in the state of Utah. Because of that, the legislature recently passed legislation allowing third parties to be able to receive medication like Narcan or naloxone to revive people who have suffered an opiate overdose. So they can do a nasal spray where you just spray it up the person's nose, or I have a kit here with the syringes and the vials, and you can just pull that out and do it intramuscular. And there's a little pamphlet that's included that shows you, you know, how to know when you have an overdose. A limp body with a pale face, blue lips or blue fingertips, no response when you try to wake them up. Slowed breathing, less than one breath every 5 seconds, or no breathing, making choking sounds or a gurgling, snoring noise. If you have this naloxone, you can reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. You spray the nasal spray or you do the intramuscular injection, and within anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 minutes, this medicine goes to the same receptor sites where the opiates bind, but it's stronger, the affinity is stronger, so it bumps off the opiates that are causing the overdose, and it sticks to the receptor sites. And when it does that, the person then wakes up and is in withdrawal. They're not very comfortable because they're in withdrawal now, but they are awake and alive and breathing. And they also passed legislation, so if you and I are somewhere and you help me and call 911, and there's, you know, needles around or other, you know, prescriptions that aren't yours or mine, then there's a Good Samaritan law, so you won't be charged with anything, because sometimes people were worried they would get in trouble and weren't calling. And when we can save a life, we want to do that. So these are available in pharmacies with a prescription, and pretty soon they'll be available there'll be a standing order, so anyone can go in and get one. If they have a family member who takes a lot of opiates for pain management, or if they have someone who is addicted, they will be able to access those services.
Okay. Thank you so much for being interviewed.
Thank you. Have a great day.